Emanating from the Londonderry Bowling Center in Londonderry, New Hampshire, it's Big Shot Bowling. Big Shot Bowling is brought to you in part by Duddy Ford. From economy to luxury, you'll find it at Duddy Ford. By Diamond Chevrolet, where you always get a diamond of a deal. And by Durette, custom concepts in cast lucite. Big Shot Bowling is brought to you in conjunction with the World Candlepin Bowlers Congress. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Fouracre along with Dan Murphy here on Big Shot Bowling. And as always, we'll be sharing with you two quality Candlepin bowlers. We have the challenger, Jack Quinn, taking on the champ, Paul Berger. And Dan Murphy, two good ones.
Oh, two great ones. Paul's looking for his fourth win in a row. Standing in his way is Jackie Quinn. And Jack, after a couple years absent on the tour, is back with us after a leg and knee problem. And he's top form, 128 average, so he's ready to go. It
should be a good one. Let's now take a look at each bowler. First of all, a close-up on the challenger, Jack Quinn.
As I say, Jack's got the almost near perfect form. Never even hit the ball, hit the lane when he throws the ball. He qualified for the show with a 713 for 5-game total. High single 190, 440 for a high triple.
Now let's take a look at the champ. He's been putting some good numbers on the score sheet, and that is Paul Berger from Hopedale, Massachusetts. Paul, a good one.
He certainly is, and he's been on fire. He's wins over Jack Ray, Rosario Luckiera, and Al Gallant. 421, 404, and last week was a 396, so he's averaging well over 130 on the show.
So it's Jack Quinn against Paul Berger in this three-string match. We'll be back with the first game, but before we do, let's roll away for these messages. Bob Fouracre along with Dan Murphy here on Big Shot Bowling, and to get it rolling is Jack Quinn, and he hails from Fremont, New Hampshire. Quinn against Berger. The winner will be picking up a couple of $100, the runner-up 100, and of course the big shot of the show will be when the champ has a chance to execute the triple at the end, and if he does it, he'll win himself a Thunderbird, and there's a good spare by Quinn.
Leaves himself the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's just a joy to watch Jack. You don't hear the ball hit the lane. Nice approach, nice follow through, nice smooth ball. And the result is the first mark of the match and the early lead.
Going for the fill, and he's going to fill it with just a few. 3 to be exact. Jack Quinn with an average of a 128. Missed the object pin that time. And he'll settle in with a 7 after a spare 3 and a 20 after 2 for the challenger. And now we present to you our 3-time champ, Paul Berger from Hopedale, Massachusetts. Berger blasting down 9 on the first ball, and he'll be hoping to go after and negotiate the 10 for a spare. Pin picking time for the champ. And he misses it. Berger has had victories over Jack Ray, Rosario Luckiera, and Al Gallant. And a 9 for the champ. Paul with a big average of a 132.
He's been averaging slightly higher than that on the show, and there's the reasons why. I was talking to Paul before the match, and just like any professional sport, there are streaks, and Paul feels he's in one himself right now. Just bowling really well.
He plays the wood for the spare.
Just how well is he bowling? Well, 3 weeks ago, he defeated Jack Ray 421 to 365. 2 weeks ago, Rosario Luckiera 404 to 341. There's a strike for Jackie Quinn, first of the match.
Home run ball.
And last week, defeated Al Gallant 396, 355 as we watch the replay of Jack's strike. Looking for 2. Looks good.
Oh my! Leaves the 4. Now if a guy gets a triple here during the match, he'll win himself a trip for 2 to Atlantic City. Compliments of Fresh Pond Travel. And they're located in Natick, Massachusetts.
Just slid by on either side of that single pin, so cost them a mark.
48 after 4. for Quinn. Berger is loading up on a spare right here on lane 29. And he loads it up with a 7 count, looking at the triangle. And he'll hope to spare up the 3, 5, and the 6.
He's got a piece of wood in between the 3 and the 5 that should help if he's on the object pin, which is the 3, and pulls it to the left. That's what he wanted to do.
Berger with a 10 count. Berger down by 3, but opposite a 9. Oh, backdoor action.
A nice break there. Missed the head pin to the right and left everything but, knocked down everything but the head pin. Left the head pin standing, and nice guide, a piece of wood next to the head pin for the mark. Second mark for him.
This is the first of 3 between Jack Quinn and Paul Berger here on Big Shot Bowling. He laid that down a little bit too far behind, got the hop, the skip, and the jump, and missed the object.
Not a bad break though, 1, 3, and 10. Trying to split the 1 and the 3, too heavy on the head pin.
Quinn with a strike and a spare here in the first. And a nice 10 for Jack. Let's watch that on the replay.
3 and a 10. Ball goes, oh, the 3 pin goes down and gets that 10. Didn't even need the wood in between.
The double tandem, the 4 and the 7 on the left, and the 6 and the 10 on the right.
He's going to go right where those 2 pieces of wood meet. Drive the second piece toward the 6 and a 10, the first piece into the 4 and the 7, and
oh,
leaves
nice
the 7.
try.
As I mentioned, Jack's been away from the tour for a couple of years because of a leg injury. He says he's 100%. Good to have him back. He's one of the class acts that we have on the WCBC tour, and we've missed him the last few years. And as you can see, a good candlepin bowler.
His mother Terry, an outstanding candlepin bowler.
Absolutely, and she was a tour member at one time and owns lanes, Lafayette Lanes in Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Paul Berger knocking in 8 on his spare. He leads it by a half dozen, and he concludes that frame with a 9.
I dare say in the last 3 weeks, this being Paul's 4th, that first ball has been so devastating. He's been on the head pin 90, probably closer to 95% with the first ball.
No, the 4 is still up as he buried it in the 1-3 pocket.
And if you bowlers out there, avid bowlers, feel that candlepin is a tough game, well, you start hitting the head pin 90, 95% of the time with the first ball, you'll find you'll start scoring much better than you usually do, and that's been the method of Paul Berger the last few weeks.
Here's Quinn. He's trailing by 5.
2, 5, 7, and the sleeper in the back, the 8 pin. Everything but the 7.
Jack's best high single, a 190. His best triple, a 440. The father of 2 looking for the 10 count, and he got it. Makes his home in Fremont, New Hampshire.
Three, 6, 4, and 7. Doesn't look like the wood behind the 3 and 6 is going to be much help. He's going to try to split the 3 and the 6. No, off the wall. Nudge it over.
Yes! Oh, superlative shot. Oh, my. Nice spare as it unfolds again on replay.
I think he tried to split the 3-6, but he went inside and watched the sidewall action there for the 4 and then 7 and then the 4.
We come back to Berger, and he has just blown down 8 of 10. And he's looking at what you're seeing right now for a spare.
5-9.
Paul so far with 3 spares. Jack with a strike and a couple of spares. Got it. Paul Berger from Hopedale, Massachusetts, with an average of a 132. His best triple of 493, and his best single of 191.
Again, back
nice
on
one.
that head pin. Had a nice talk before the match started when we were waiting for the crew to set up and things, and he really loves his bowling. Quite an athlete, but through the years, he says, and age and everything, bowling's about the only thing he does now.
5 spares for the champ. 3 in a row, as you can see on the scoreboard. This the first of 3 here on Big Shot Bowling. Both bowlers will be receiving trophies from George Girton Trophy Center. They're located on Southbridge Street in Worcester, Massachusetts, the birthplace of Candlepin Bowling. Over a century ago, this fine sport started right in Worcester.
The way I talk, Paul Berger was around when they invented the game. I don't mean he's an old fellow. He's younger than I am, I think so.
Everybody's younger than you, Dan, including yours truly.
What I meant was that he used to play football and things, and you know, sooner or later you're going to give those kind of sports up.
Down to the final frame for Jack Quinn.
Nice
And he
light hit that
gets
time.
the strike, his second strike. If he strikes out, he'll win himself a trip to Atlantic City, compliments of Fresh Pond Travel.
A lot of pin action there. He left himself the cluster of 5 in a left-hand corner, and then got a couple pieces that come off the right-hand sidewall to clear him off of the strike. Looking for the double. Off target.
And a 10 as he kicks it off the wall. And a total of a 122 for Jack Quinn in the first game. Berger blasting them all down.
That was interesting. Left himself the 5-10. Watch the piece of wood in between the 5 and 10 twirl around and clip the 5 and then the 10.
Going for the double on lane 30. No.
Off again, and this has been his forte. Each week he seems to open up with that real fine first game. Last week against Al Gallant was 153. Today's going to be well in the 140s.
And a 10. And a 148 for the champ. After 1, it is the champ leading it over Jack Quinn. Berger with the lead, 148 to 122. We'll be back with the second string, but first let's pause for these messages. We're ready to start the second game, and the man who's rolling on 29 leads it by 26 pins. That's Paul Berger, the champ. He had a sizzling 148 in the first game to Jack Quinn's 122. En route to that 148 for Paul, he had 1 strike and 5 spares, and for Jack, en route to his 122, he had a couple of strikes and a couple of spares. Paul Berger from Hopedale, Massachusetts. Oh, the old spread eagle.
Flush on the head pin. Removes the 1, 5, 8, and 9. Leaves the 3, 6, 10 on the right, 2, 4, 7 on the left.
The father of 2, laboring on lane number 30 as he lifts off the second game after an outstanding 148. And he climbs out of it with an 8. Back-to-back 8s for the champ. A 16 after a couple. He left the door open a couple of times for Jack Quinn. Jack off target.
Yeah, the last step, it looks like he faded on his third step to the left and caused himself to pull the ball to the left. Make sure you approach the pins straight.
Speaking of fading, Dan, how's your bowling been lately?
Well, I'm still on injured reserve. I'm going to make a comeback, hopefully this month.
I hope you make that comeback. We wish you well. There's a nice high triple of 440, recorded by Jack.
Off the head pin now, that first ball twice in a row. Leaves himself the 2, 4, 7 with the 10. Couple pieces of wood, one out in front of the 2 and one. Whoops, we had a little more action there. Now we've got the 4, 7, 10. and all kinds of lumber. He's going to try to carry the ball off the piece of wood to clear the 4 and 7 and have the wood take the 10. Yes.
Come on,
no.
7. No.
Boy, that's 2 or 3 times he's left the 7 pin up for the spare.
And a 10 for Jack. All the action emanating from the Londonderry Bowling Center in Londonderry, New Hampshire, the home of TR's Tavern. You're watching Big Shot Bowling on the New England Sports Network, the home of the Red Sox, the Bruins, Hockey East, college basketball, and a few other great programs.
Oh, nice try. 7 and the 8. Tried to use the wood effectively and got the 7, and the ball came back and just missed knocking down the 8.
Our official today is John Patorsky. Some of you people might remember John, not only for his fine act here on Big Shot Bowling, but what he pulled off recently on Channel 5. Man, incredible. He let the ball go and it hit the ceiling. He will someday be in bowling, Candlepin Bowling's Hall of Fame, no question about it. Berger going after the spread eagle. Oh, nice try by the champ.
Everybody's sitting at home. How did he hit the ceiling? We should probably tell the whole story, Bob. Or should we just leave it?
There's nothing really more to say, other than I know Helen Salou won't ever let him bowl at his or her place ever, ever, ever again.
What happened is John was bowling on the TV show that is taped at those particular lanes, and he started his approach and the 6 pin fell over. Well, no one saw that except John, and John tried to stop his delivery and his approach, and well, didn't quite stop everything and let the ball go straight up into the ceiling and down again.
I believe that was Fairway Lanes.
Fairway Sports World in Natick, Massachusetts.
And the proprietor there, she does a beautiful job and has done a lot for the sport of Candlepin Bowling, Helen Salou. But she is really mad at John, I tell you that. He's going to have to repair the ceiling.
Oh,
that's why he's working today.
Yeah, try to
earn some guitas so we can pay that bill.
6, 9, and 10 for the spare.
Got
Nice
it.
shot by Jack. First one of the second game for either bowler.
It's the third one of this match for Jack, along with a couple of strikes.
It's 3, 5, 6, and 10. No, I'm sorry, 3, 6, 9, and 10.
With lumber. It's all gone now, though. Off the bowling of Berger.
That's interesting because he played the one on the left because he knew the one on the right had the bad angle, probably would have left the 10 pin standing. Good choice by Paul, and the result is another mark.
He's a bit upset with that leave. Looking down at the 4 and the 7 and off to the right is the 10. He's going to have to get some action off the wall. Well,
oh, he's going to get it. He's going to get it.
Oh, we got to watch that again. Wow, 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 superlative. You talk about getting up on the right side of the bed. Berger did. Watch this. Can you believe it? You never know what's going to happen in this exciting game of Candlepin Bowling.
Wasn't quite the way Paul expected it to go, but had the right idea. Played the wood in front of the 4 and the 7 and cleared the wood out like it was. There was nothing behind it. The ball came back, the 10, the 7, and then the 4.
Incredible.
And another nice shot by Jack, leaves a 5 pin.
Berger is down by a dozen in this string, but leading in the match by 14.
Wow. That woke us up.
Did it ever? He never did get the action off the wall. The ball came back and got the 10, and then it all happened.
Nice
from
ball
there.
by Jack.
Jack with his 3rd strike in the match, his 1st in this game.
I'll tell you, this bowler, when he gets in the groove, he can throw strikes.
And we're going to take a break right here after that fine strike by Jack Quinn. We'll be back with more, so stick around. More exciting action here on Big Shot Bowling. Back we come to Big Shot Bowling. Paul Berger leading in the match by 21, filling in a spare. And he has a healthy fill of a 7.
Well, it's the same shot he had a little while ago, the opposite side. 6-7, 6-10 on the right with a 7 on the left. And again, piece of wood out in front, he's going to have to play. Probably try to cap the wood in front of the 6 and a 10 like that. Nice try.
No luck that time, though. That other great shot was the 4, 7, and then the 10. And a 9 for Paul. Paul Berger, our 3-time champ, looking for his 4th straight here on Big Shot Bowling.
Oh, wow.
Drop of 9.
Leaves a solid 8-pin. Piece of wood out in front, and it's way out in front, so it's always a danger. Pins that far out in front of your target. Covers it.
Did what you had to do. You had to overpower the wood and drill it back there. 8 spares along with a strike for Paul Berger in this match. First string, he had a 148. Quinn had a 122.
For a double. There's the double, Bob.
Okay, we're all set now. If Jack Quinn can get a strike right here, he'll win himself a trip for 2 to Atlantic City. Compliments of Fresh Pond Travel in Natick, Massachusetts. Let's wish him well.
Looks good. Looks good. Oh.
No, the 2 and the 4.
Look good going in. This is the lane 30s where I believe he threw his other 2 strikes. Looking for the spare on strike, and we're going to have a match here before this is over.
Oh, baby, a barn burner going between Paul Berger and the challenger, Jack Quinn. Quinn with 4 strikes, 4 spares.
And puts him in the lead, I believe.
Berger, on the other hand, has knocked down 8 spares. He's bowled over 1 strike. Paul pin picking right now. He's going to have to try to bail out of this one with 1 ball remaining. And he goes for the deuce, and he gets the deuce as he plays the 4-7. 101 with 1 to go for Berger here in the second game.
A 26-pin lead coming in. So box is completed. It's down by 1.
Going for a spare in his final frame of the second. It's there.
Spare.
9 spares now. 1 ball to go for Big Paul. And he adds 6 more to the score sheet.
117.
117 along with a 148. 2-string count of a 265 for the champ.
Off target that time. 4 fill.
Jack Quinn got himself a 122. He'll do better than that this string.
So after 8 frames, they were all even. That puts Jack 1 pin ahead, I believe, because he's opposite an 8 frame. 26-pin lead for Paul coming in. Now he's going to match the spare 6 by Paul Berger. And he does.
Yes.
He notches the mark anyways with a strike of his own.
It's 5th strike in the match as we watch it unfold again.
This time the 1-2 pocket. 5 and 9. Last 2 to go.
5 strikes and 4 spares for Jack Quinn.
Anything above 5, you'll take the lead.
That he does. He was looking for the double.
This is for a 5-pin lead after 2, and that's what it's going to be.
And he gets it. Hey, look at that, a 148. That's what Berger had in the first game. And a 270 to a 265. The challenger, Jack Quinn, leads it by 5. We'll be rolling into the 3rd and final game of this match. But before we do, let's pause for these messages. Back we come to the final game, and it's been an exciting match between the challenger Jack Quinn and the champ Paul Berger. Quinn leading by 5 with strings of 122 and 148 for Jack for a 270 count, and after a couple for Paul Berger at 265, strings of 148, 117. And here's John Petorsky going down. Twinkle toes as he'll do some work down there. Some of you might remember the great act that John put on a few weeks ago or a few months ago, whatever the case, on Big Shot Bowling.
2-4-7 with a 10, trying to split the 2 and the 4.
You know, Dan, anytime Petorsky goes down there and comes out alive, he's mighty happy. He says, "Thank you, Lord."
We have a lot of fun with John. Good sport.
An 8 for Jack Quinn.
5-pin lead coming in for this man you're looking at now.
5 strikes and 4 spares in the match for Jack. Ooh, with a little bit of luck, he would have had his 6th strike. Now he's going to have to go after his 5th spare. Pin picking time.
Yes.
Right on the button. Jack Quinn from Fremont, New Hampshire, taking on Paul Berger from Hopedale, Massachusetts.
I don't think in any of Paul's previous wins he was ever behind at this point in the match. This is the head pin, leaves the 1 and the 9. Tough shot, gonna be almost flush in the head pin. Drive the head pin straight back into the 9 or have the ball carry it.
Off target on that one for Paul.
Well, he gains 2 of those 5 back. Drops at the 8. Now he's got to match the spare.
Paul, a graduate of Northeastern University, works as a purchasing manager for Sun Microsystems.
Little light. 7 and 9.
Paul, over the years, has picked up 1 win on the tour.
Looks good. Oh,
Ooh.
wood cost him. The second piece of wood to the far right cost him that shot.
He'll settle up with a 10. Back-to-back 10s. Now, as you can see, Jack Quinn is working on a spare. He's leading by 3, but he can add to it. That he does.
Oh, he wanted that 7-pin to go. Tough shot here, though. 6 and 9, and the angle of the wood could cost him the 9. He's going to go far right, I believe. No, drove the pin straight back. Nice shot.
Spare number 6 for the challenger as we watch it again as he plays it right there for the spare.
Actually, off the piece of wood first to turn it ever so slightly to drive it straight back into the 9.
Loading up in the spare, and he loads it up with a half dozen.
2-4-7 with the 5. Looks good. Yes,
Yes, it
nudges
was.
a 5. A little
You
heavy
knew
on
it
the
was going to
2-pin.
be a backdoor play, and that it was for the look good spare.
A little heavy with the 3-pin, but he got a nice break coming back to nudge the 5 for 3 in a row. Puts a lot of pressure on defending champ Paul Berger.
Paul in the 1-3 pocket, and he's going to get a drop of 8, hoping to spare. Looking down at the 2 and the 4 with some lumber. Yep.
Now, this fella doesn't quit.
Spare number 10 for Paul Berger.
You have to beat Paul.
Next week, Dan, the challenger is Dennis Stevens.
He's a rookie on the Pro Tour this year. Oh,
Yes.
I tell you, this fella's a long ways from out of this match.
The second strike in the match for Berger. Watch this one, baby.
That's a quick one. Trips the 4 for the strike. Comes back to within 7 pins. 2 in this string and 5 from the previous 2.
Jack loading up on the spare, loads it up with an 8 count.
All Jack wants to do is keep marking. I'm sure he's watched Paul the last several weeks. He's a tough, tough competitor.
John Petorsky, our official today. And as John slides the ball down the channel, he takes out the 7. And there is Jack Quinn taking those 2 down for his 4th spare in a row.
Well, he's gone from throwing the strike ball
To the spare.
to the spares, and he's got 4 in a row now, keeping the pressure on Paul Berger. Light hit. 4, 5, 7, 8.
Half dozen on that spare. Oh.
Nice try. Every pin count now.
And a 9 after a half dozen. 85 for Jack Quinn. Berger looking for the double. A little bit light on the 1-2. He has the 6, 9, and 10.
He wants to make, well, that piece of wood is going to, no, I guess he still can see the 9, 6-pin, get by that front piece of wood. Yeah, didn't. He clipped it, and that's what cost him to carry that 10-pin, and he knew it as soon as he threw the ball. So he's going to lose a few more in count because he's opposite a spare 6 by Jack Quinn.
10 for Paul. Paul looking for his 4th straight win here on Big Shot Bowling.
See, 7 pins there plus the 5. He's down by 11. Opposite a 9 box.
Light hit, but he comes up with a 9 drop, and he's going to have to go after the 10.
Well, he's
Negotiate
ooh.
what's down there. Oh, man,
Well,
it's going to be
tough.
tough.
He's going to play to the left and turn the wood, or possibly come off the wall with the ball. No, he went straight back, turned it. Nice shot. A lot tougher than it looks.
And as we watch the replay, we're going to go to the break here on Big Shot Bowling. We'll be back with the Final 4, showcasing the champ Paul Berger and the challenger Jack Quinn. So stick around. We got a good one brewing. Here we come back to the action, and to get it rolling is Jack Quinn. Quinn leading by 7 in this game, and in the overall count in the match, he's up by a dozen.
Oh, really? I said 11. 7-5 is not 11, huh?
No, not at all. Not the way our statistician keeps score. Cheryl Young, she's right on the money again.
Ooh.
John Petorsky, our official, and the scorekeeper on the board that you see at home is Bert Perangeli.
And
And
another
of
open
course,
frame.
we might also mention the executive producer of Big Shot Bowling is John E. Legums, and he is the gentleman that owns 6 Gun Productions, that keeps this thing rolling.
Critical box for Jack Quinn. Wants to put a mark up there to carry him into those last
Ooh.
2 frames. That's going to be a good one if he can convert this. There's 2 open frames, and of course Paul Berger is working on a mark.
No. Recapping the strings for Jackie, started off with a 122. The last game he had a 148. For Paul, he started up with a 148. Last game he had a 117. 9 count.
Well, that's where I got the 11. Sure, he's got a spare up opposite a 9 box, down by 11, minus this ball. Got out of that one, didn't I?
Our director for this show is Bob McElroy. We'd like to thank Bob and the rest of his teammates for a superlative job here on Big Shot Bowling.
7 fill. Down by 4. 4, 7, 10. Do you elect to use the wood in front of the 10 or 4 into the 7 and off the side? Well, I think he's going to use the wood. That's
Here
what
he
he's trying
goes.
to do. Look at this.
Oh.
Nice try, Paul.
Great try by
Well, he
the
can
3-time
pick
champ.
another pin up on count. He's opposite another 9 frame. That's what he does.
3 more to go for the King of the Hill. The winner will be receiving $200, the runner-up $100. Both bowlers will be walking out of here with Trophies from George Gerton Trophy Center.
3 pins. This is the deficit facing this gentleman right here. He's opposite another 9 by Jack Quinn. 2, 5, and a 10.
It can be done. It's not easy. Paul is going to settle in. He started to move, but then he said, nope, not quite ready. Here he goes.
Off target a little bit. Yeah, and he's upset with himself with that one because he knew, I think he had a shot at if he could clip the wood in front of, next to the 2-pin, could have cleared them all 3 of them.
Oh,
Yes,
nice. Out for a 10 count.
Gains another one in a count. 2 pins. The lead for this gentleman walking up now, going the last 2 frames.
Jack Quinn
Oh my.
down to the final 2.
Well, tough spare leave here. 2-4 with the 6. 2 ways. Inside of the 2 and come off the wall, or trying to split the 2 and the 4. Inside.
Ooh! If we have a tie, we'll have 2 extra boxes rolled by each guy. And a 10 for Jack Quinn, the man from Fremont, New Hampshire. He has himself a 1-13 with 1 to go.
Jack is thinking now, spare 8, put it into double figures, make Paul get a double mark. Well, he's going to have a shot.
Yes, he is.
3 and 10. Tough angle in the wood. 10 pin's going to be the problem.
Here he goes. Yes! Climbs all over him for the spare.
Okay, the situation was that Paul Berger must get a mark anyways. Now, it's if Jack can throw 8, fill, or better, that means Paul's going to have a double mark to win the match.
Remember that, fans, an 8 or better on this ball.
He's off target. Still in a 1-mark situation.
5 fill, and a total of a 128 for Jack Quinn, along with strings of 122 and a 148 for a 3-string count of an outstanding 398.
133 is a tie. 134 is a win for Paul Berger. Right now he's at about a 126 clip. Needs at least 1 mark, and that's going to have to be a good fill.
Here he goes. Paul Berger.
Looks good. Well,
Triangle leave.
well, it was a triangle.
Not anymore.
3-6. 3-6. That wood in the back isn't going to kill a shot on him.
He got
Oh,
it.
that's it. Okay.
Berger with a dozen spares and 2 strikes.
Situation's this now. Needs the 134 to win. Needs an 8 fill and a 10. Any
As
combination.
simple as that. It's all happening here on Big Shot Bowling.
What a match. Down to the last frame.
Paul Berger, here he goes.
Oh, there's the 8. Boy, you'd love to see that one go. Okay.
Here it is.
A 9 is a tie. A 10 is a win.
Ooh!
Got the hard one. Good choice by Paul. Good choice. Went for the mark. Wanted to really cut the 5 over. Now he's got a piece of wood in front of the 7 for the win.
And he gets
Nice
it.
match.
Wow,
Nice
what a match between Paul Berger and Jack Quinn. Takes him by 1 pin. Look at the final count of 399 for Paul
What a
Berger
match.
as he wins his 4th straight here on Big Shot Bowling to Jack Quinn's outstanding 398. I guess it would be safe to say it was a superlative match by 2 superlative bowlers on this superlative show. We'll be back with the Big Shot as Berger will be going after the Thunderbird right after we pause. What a superlative show here on Big Shot Bowling. Paul Berger winning for the 4th consecutive week, and a thriller in a barn burner over Jack Quinn with a 399 to a 398. And Dan, you can't get any closer than that.
No, the only close you can get is it ended up in a tie. We went to 2 overtime or something like that. But superlative bowling by both bowlers. This is a great match to watch.
And Berger, who was trailing by a few at the end, came up with a couple of pressure-packed shots.
Oh, he did, but Jack did his shot by getting the mark in the 9th, forcing him to get the big mark, and he did his part. He would have liked a better fill on his mark, of course, to force Paul into a 2-mark situation, but it didn't happen. He got the mark, got 8, and picked it up for a 10 box for a 1-pin win.
Once again, Berger winning it 399 to 398. And let's bring up the gentleman and outstanding bowler who had the 398. Come on up, Jack Quinn. Let's hear it for our runner-up. Jack, turn right around so all the folks throughout New England and throughout the free world, you want to say hi, Mom?
Hi, Mom.
Mom is Terry Quinn, who was an outstanding bowler in her day.
Yep, she sure was.
She still rolls them, huh?
Yeah, now and then.
And your bowling, was it all taught to you by Mom?
Yeah, just about.
What about this match with Paul Berger? For a moment, I thought you had it in your hand, but you never say you have it in your hand when you're taking on the likes of Berger.
Oh, no, I didn't get that big fill in that last mark there. That might have done it.
But overall, you had some outstanding bowling. 398, a lot of strikes, 5 strikes and 11 spares.
Yeah.
Not too bad at all. Here's Dan the Man. You know this guy?
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, there shouldn't have been any losers today, Jack, but it's good to see you back after the 2-year absence. And I said before,
I'll be
one of the class acts of the WCBC. Good to see him back in action.
Nice having you with us, and have a seat. Let's have a nice round of applause for the runner-up, Jack Quinn, with a 398. Obviously a disappointing 398 because he wanted that victory. He collects $100 and a trophy from Girton Trophy Center. And now let's bring up the champ. Come on up, Paul Berger, for the 4th week in a row. Here he is, Paul Berger. Congratulations. Man, you worked for this one.
Sure did. This was about the toughest one I can remember. Real tough.
Well, you started off with a 148, and then a 117, and came back. You needed a 134. You needed a 10 to win, and you got the 10. How did it feel in that last frame?
Well, you know, they always say it ain't over till it's over, and I thought I had a good shot at him. I was throwing the ball still fairly well, and he left a little bit of an opening, maybe the only opening he left all day.
Danny, what about his performance?
Well, I'm just curious that the last mark, you get this mark in the 9, you need 8 or better, and then, of course, if you get the 8, you get a 10. You left the 5-7. Anything going through your mind looking for the tie or looking for the win?
Well, the way I looked at it, I had the wood on the 7 pin, so I figured I could shoot the 5, and if I missed it, I had the tie.
Yeah, that's the way same thing I was figuring. You went for the spare, didn't make it, but you still have the tie. That's great bowling, Paul.
That's what I had to do, and fortunately this time I just nicked it, by the way, if you notice. That was a heavy ball.
Well, you know, Paul, if I was bowling, I would have done exactly the same thing.
I'm sure you would have, Bob.
Now, Paul, you have a shot at a Thunderbird. All you're going to have to do is start it up on lane 30 and get a strike, then move over to 29, get another strike, and back to 30 and another strike, and you win yourself a brand spanking new Thunderbird.
Well, my wife told me not to come home without it. So.
Go get it. Let's wish him well as Paul Berger goes after the Thunderbird. Compliments of Dottie Ford, Route 9 in Westboro, and 6 Gun Productions. Needs a strike right here.
Well, off the target, off the head pin. I'm sure he didn't want to do that, but now going for the mark.
Hoping for an AMA gift. Looking for the spare. No. Come on over, Paul. Let's hear it again for 4-time champ Paul Berger as he jumps back into the winner's circle. Well, all you're going to have to do is get another win next week and then eventually satisfy your wife.
Yeah, probably. For a moment, anyway.
We have a couple of $100 for you and a trophy from Girton Trophy Center, and to make the presentation is Dan the Man Murphy.
Okay, Paul, another one to add to your collection. Next week's Doug Stevens. I'm sure you know him. He's down from your neck of the woods, and they don't get any easier.
Absolutely not.
Good luck next week.
Thanks, Dan.
Look forward to seeing you. Our 4-time champ. Let's hear it for the 4-time champ, Paul Berger, as he defeats Jack Quinn with a 399 to a 398. Dan, we got a few moments here. What about the standings and the last tournament that was held? Where was it held, Dan? Out in Springfield.
Well, the tough lanes out in State Ball in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I'll just give you the top 5 ladies and men's. 5th place was Marianne Kelly with 1163, real close. Judy Witcher was in 4th place with 1165. Kathy Dunn, 1173. Paula Truman from Maine, 1188. And the winner, Joanne Rosano, 1249. And on the men's side, Pat Pay was in 5th at 1270. Dennis Stevens, who we're going to see next week on our show, with 1281. Billy Kerwin with 1291. Peter Flynn, 1295. And the winner, and set a house record here last year with a win, John Zernicke, 1308.
And that's what happened in the last stop of the WCBC Tour. Dan, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little down. I'm a little out because the picture we're going to put on the screen is not the original, but there is Captain PJ, Reverend Bates, and yours truly, Mr. Superlative. That picture was hanging at Sawyer's Bowlodrome in Northborough, Massachusetts, the original one, worth literally thousands and thousands of dollars, and it was stolen, and we have a reward out. Ernie Junie Sawyer, and his wife, Ev, are very upset that it was stolen, and they have a reward of many thousands of bucks if someone can return that to Sawyer's Bowlodrome.
You did say bucks.
Yeah, bucks.
Yeah, that's tragic, Bob. It's tragic. I see all your friends are in that picture too, so it's priceless.
It certainly is. This whole show has been priceless, and Big Shot Bowling has been absolutely priceless at times. And on behalf of Dan Murphy, this is Bob Fouracre saluting our champ once again, Paul Berger, for a superlative win. And we invite you back next week for more exciting action when Paul Berger will be back to take on Dennis Stevens. We'll catch you then.